Welcome to the MMA Fan Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Stu and Blake.
Hello and welcome to the MMA Fan Show. I'm Stu Whiffen, joining me always, Blake Harrison. How are you, mate?
Very good, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. I mean, we're talking like we've just seen each other for the first time. We've already recorded a podcast today. I'm quite sick of your face, really. But what was quite good was in between the last episode and this one, you put on a snazzy cardigan.
Well, I didn't want it to be like I needed a little costume change, didn't I? Because I didn't want it to be like we've got wearing the same clothes every week. Because even though we're filming this on the same day, they're going to go out different weeks. So yes, you've mugged me off. You've caught me in a very kind of Katy Perry-esque VMAs costume change. You know, if these things happen. But rather than us just blathering between the two of us, we need to introduce today's guest. Because not only are we going to talk about, we're going to talk about some of the news that's been going on. John Jones, Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler fighting Oliveira now, Sugar Sean, all these little things. But before we do that, we need to talk about one of, if not maybe, one of the best fighters we've got in the UK today, Lerone Murphy. We've got a big fight coming up with Dan Ige, and also you're fresh off of your first ever main event against Edson Barboza, which obviously you were victorious in. How are you doing, mate? And has it sunk in that you won your first ever main event and you've got a big fight coming up?
Yeah, of course. It's just like this with this fight game, it's just like on to the next. You know what I mean? It's just like one step up the ladder, one step up the ladder, one step up the ladder. And it's like you don't get to enjoy it for too long in it because it's in the past, and then you're on to the next step, the next challenge. And obviously I've got a big challenge ahead of me. I'll be big card, main card I'm fighting on, pay-per-view card. So yeah, it's a massive opportunity, man. But I enjoyed the 5-rounder. It's a great experience, and I believe it's leveled me up again. I got in there with a guy I've been watching from before, even done MMA, so it's a good feather in the cap, and I'm happy I got the win.
You looked absolutely fantastic in that fight, Lerone. And how was that, sort of staring across the octagon and thinking, that's Edson Barboza, and by what what you've just said, like he was someone that you'd been watching for years. He's a legend, and
yeah,
how was that? Was that overwhelming in any way, shape or form?
No, do you know what? For me, I like to do a lot of visualization and stuff like that. So I felt like I had already been in there with him a million times. Do you get what I'm saying? But it was when he was first walking out, I did get like a weird little thing of like, yo, I'm fighting Edson Barboza. And then I snapped out of it, and then I always counter any bad thoughts with a few good thoughts. Do you get what I'm saying? Like a few positive thoughts every time, and then it's like I got myself into the mode again, the fight mode again, and then once I was in there with him, it's just another body, really.
Yeah, fantastic.
Lerone, if you don't mind, is there any way you can just tilt the phone a little bit so we can, because your head's getting cut off there a little bit, like that. Tilt it back. Yeah. There you go. That's a bit better. Yeah, and I'll be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that, and we joked a bit about this before we press record. You've got combat sports on in the background. You're watching a bit of boxing on TV. Yeah. You don't seem to ever stop. Kind of, I don't know if it's just a part of improving yourself as a fighter, or just like you seem to be watching combat sports. We talk to a lot of fighters that don't even watch that much MMA. You seem the polar opposite. You seem to know what's going on at all times, and you're immersing yourself in the sport, as we've seen there with boxing as well. Like, do you ever get tired of it, or you just feel like they'll have to do this?
Of course I get tired. I do get tired of it, but I also know it's like I'm recovering now. I had a hard session this morning. During my recovery, I'll watch a bit of whatever I watch, wrestling, boxing, MMA, whatever it is. I feel like you can always learn something, and you pick things up from watching the elite guys. And it's crazy because I was watching something Terence Crawford done. I was watching something, and I must have replayed it about 5 times, and I actually pulled it off in sparring without even knowing it. I didn't even train it. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like you can visually learn things. So why not spend my time learning while I'm not training and improving that way mentally?
I like to think that you was watching that just as a bit of downtime, just to switch off and just watch the fight. But no, you're actually like pulling it apart, making notes, and then taking that back to the gym.
Yeah, of course, man, of course. Do you know what? Like, there's no downtime in this game, and I feel like I'm just getting to that. getting to that point now, this age now, where I've got to make things happen. So I've got to put in the time, got to put in the work, and then I can relax afterwards.
What is that dedication that's led you to a situation where you're an undefeated UFC fighter, flying high in the rankings? I mean, arguably, you should be further up the rankings than what you already are, because you are undefeated. You've put in these great performances, and you've got a big fight in Abu Dhabi, UFC 310 against Dan Ige, who, you know, he came into the news a lot lately because he took a fight on 3 hours' notice. I mean, what did you make of that?
I believe, obviously, hats off to him, ratings, but I believe any top 15 fighter would have done that for that type of money. You know what I mean? And that opportunity, I believe so. I don't know, but I would have done it.
You would have done it.
I would have done it 100%. I would have took that fight 100%. And he had a fight anyway in July, innit? So he would have been getting ready. And I know Dan's a professional athlete as well. He's always in shape. He's always ready to fight. So why not roll the dice? I think I'm sure he believes in himself. But do you know what? Hats off to him. I actually woke up middle of the night to watch the fights, and I seen him walking out, and I thought I was on the wrong channel or something. I was thinking, Dad, do you know what I mean? I was thinking, what, Dad? And then I could hear the commentary then saying, "Oh, he stepped in on short notice." So yeah, hats off to him, man. We need more people like that.
We need to interrupt the show to tell you all about our sponsor. We are sponsored by Fat Candy. That's freeze-dried sweets. What's your favourite, Blake?
Skittles.
I ain't gonna lie. I opened a little bag this morning. They sent the Pick-a-Mix bags over. They've sent 4 over with the Happy Gilmore jersey and the sunglasses and stuff like that. We smashed one bag, I think, on the last one. And I bust open the second bag today just to have some Skittles.
Selfish man.
Sorry,
the
mate.
Skittles are delicious. It's all delicious. Freeze-dried sweets is where it's at. And you can get a discount if you put in Sweet MMA. That's SWEET MMA. When you go to Fat Candy's website, you can get a discount. You can get money off. And then you can enjoy all the skittly, sugary, pick-a-mixy, freeze-dried goodness.
Absolutely. Go check them out on the website. Other than that, go give them a follow on the socials. They're tagged in all of our posts, so go give them some love over there. Fat Candy, proud sponsors of the MMA Fan Podcast. Let's get back to the show.
And what did you make of the Ortega situation? Because personally, obviously we don't know exactly what's gone on behind the scenes there. But for me personally, the fact that it seemed to be like he let Lopez know a few days into the weight cut or whatever it was that he wasn't going to make 145, it had to be 155. And then the day of the fight, he turns and said, "No, I can't fight at all." Like, if that was done to you, you'd be absolutely fuming, right? I felt really sorry for Lopez.
Yeah, 100%. But I also know Ortega's been in there with everybody, so there must have been something up. There must have been something up. Like, he's never done that before. And he's been in there with the scary guys and Lopez, so... And he ended up fighting him anyway, but I believe there was some sort of medical issues. I'm not too sure myself.
What did you make of the Lopez Ortega fight?
He went exactly how I thought it would. Lopez being the younger version of him, the better version of him, fresher version of him, hungrier version of him. The fight went exactly how I thought it would be. I think Ortega's had a lot of wars. Not to say he's not good, but he's had a lot of wars now. He's probably coming to the end of his time up there, and it's a different level of hunger. Being the wolf that's climbing the hill, than being the one on top of the hill, which Ortega is. He's been like top 3, top 4 for the last 5 years or something. So yeah, it went how I thought it would go.
Do you think like Lopez has got potential to be the champ?
I don't see him beating Topuria or Max Holloway. I think that's a different level, but he is a very good fighter, and I believe he could be in the future, maybe. But right now, I don't think he's as that good to beat them.
Okay.
And in terms of the Ige fight that you've got coming up, am I right in thinking you mentioned his name a couple of times, but then actually met him at the PI and seemed to get on really well with him? He seemed like a nice guy. Am I right in saying that? Did that happen?
Yeah, because I was supposed to fight him in February.
Yeah.
I got injured. He got a new matchup, and I did bump into him in the PI. Yeah, he's cool, but he's respectful. Like you see him on interviews and whatnot. That's how he is in person. So he's respectable, but this is the fight game, innit? And like, there's no, do you know what I'm saying? I respect him as a man, as a human being, but when we get in there, we have to fight in it, and there's only going to be one winner.
And what do you think Ige does well that you're going to have to be careful of?
He's a power puncher. Everybody knows he's got a lot of power in his hands, and he's good everywhere actually. And I feel like this is why it's a different challenge than anybody else, because he's good everywhere. He can wrestle. He's got a good power in his hands. I think he might be a black belt jiu-jitsu or whatever. I'm not too sure, and he's got an experience. He's got the experience. He's been in there with every single person. He's fought 5 rounders. He's got the experience. So I'm just got to be careful and fight my game and just like, stick to the game plan.
How's training going?
Training's going great, man. But coming up to 4 weeks out now, I'm feeling great. I just feel like I'm just improving all the time, and that's a good thing about it. I feel like I'm getting better, and I feel like you're going to see the best version of me again.
Do you have a prediction for the fight? Do you know how you think it's going to play out?
I don't. It's never been finished, has it? But obviously, I want to be the first person to finish him.
Yeah.
Obviously, I always fight to finish. I believe I should have got to finish the last fight and the fight before, but just a few little tweaks in technique and whatnot. But I will start getting these finishes.
You're going to knock him out, Terence Crawford style, man.
I hope so.
Well, the other exciting thing is you're on the same card as Max and Ilya. The belt for your division is being decided on the card you're fighting on. I always think that's good for fighters to be on the same card as that when they're up and coming and moving through the rankings, trying to get towards those kind of title challenger moments. Because when everyone starts breaking down this card and talking about Max and Ilya, a few minutes after that, they're going to be going, and now on to Lerone Murphy. And getting talked about in the same breadth as the champ and the challenger at that moment. I think that's always a good thing for fighters. How do you see Max and Ilya playing out? Because for me, I think it's probably my most anticipated fight. Like, it's the one I'm most excited. I cannot wait for that fight.
It is. It can go so many different ways, and they're both the highest level fighters in the world, and that's what everyone wants to see, right? Well, the 2 best fighters in that weight class going at it in the prime. So it's an exciting fight, and I believe it's hard to count Poirier out, but just believe he's not fought nobody like Max yet, and Max has got that experience over him, which counts a lot. And but you know what? Before Holloway fought Gaethje, I would have picked Poirier. But when I seen Holloway against Gaethje, I thought, okay, it's a similar type of fight, right? And I just believe Max might just have too many weapons in his arsenal.
I think you might be right. I'm a big fan of Poirier, but I love Max, and I'd love to see him get that belt back. Yeah,
it's a good fight.
I mean, looking at your division and talking about fighters that we love, he's much like you, Lerone. He's been on the show several times. He's a great friend of the show, and he's a lovely guy. He's Arnold Allen. At some point, have you considered that could happen? Like, as you're sort of working your way into that top 10, Arnold Allen could be on that journey. Is that something you've ever pictured or considered?
Of course, I believe the UFC might even make that fight in the UK, headline a fight night or something like that. It could be something, but I like Arnie. I like him. Every time he fights, I root for him, right? So I prefer to take a different route, but if that's the matchup that comes, I never say no in it, and we'll fight. But I believe there's a lot of other fighters I'm not faced yet, and I prefer to face them over him. But,
of course.
If we get matched, and it's as simple as that. And it'll just be respect, and then we'll fight, and then whatever else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, skill for skill, it would be an incredible fight to watch, but I really don't want to see it.
Absolutely.
Whenever I think of 2 fights, I'm like, they're both really good. All I do is go, I want to see that fight. In this situation, I don't want to see that fight. I like you both so much. I love Arnie. I like you as well. I don't want to see that fight happen at all. I keep you 2 away from each other. You can fight other people and get towards that belt, both of you. But look, let's move on to a couple of like interesting news moments that have happened lately. And we had the Sphere 306, which looked incredible. I loved the look of the Sphere. I thought it looked amazing. Murad beat Sean O'Malley. A couple of days later, it seems that O'Malley's come out saying, no, I'm still undefeated. I never lost my belt. I won rounds 1, 3, and 5, and I'm still the champ. What do you think of the fight? Like, do you think O'Malley's got a case? And also, what do you make of that kind of reaction from someone like Sean O'Malley?
I just believe, well, I did watch the fight. I'm watching it, I believe Murad won, like everybody did. I think sometimes you have to rewatch fights though, because you kind of naturally root for the underdog, right? And it's like, do you know what I'm saying? And then everyone's like thinking, oh, he's doing better than we thought he was doing, so he's winning. But I do believe he won the fight, and I feel like O'Malley tweeted that to like get a reaction from people, because he's saying it about Chito Vera, and he got finished by Chito Vera. Oh, I'm still undefeated. It was like some weird thing, but I feel like it's just winding people up. He knows he's been beating it, but yeah, Murad looked great, man. Murad looked great.
Looked very, very good.
There's a couple other fighters I wouldn't mind sort of asking you what you think's next for them. What do you think's next for Leon Edwards?
It's funny, right? How people have just counted him out straight away just from one bad performance.
It feels like that, which is ridiculous.
It's crazy, and like everyone's got short memories, and this is why you can't get too attached to it, because it happens like that, innit? But I believe he can come back from that. He's not old. What is he, 32 or something? He's not old. He's still there in his prime. He just might have to just make a few little small changes, but I think he might fight Ian Gary next. I hope them two fight. I hope them two fight makes sense. Let them two fight. Let Rachmanov fight Bilal, and then Leon, the winner of Leon and Derek, can rematch for the title, innit? But he's still there, man. He's still got the ability to win it back, and I believe he can win it back as well.
It's a great fight, Leon Gary.
It is a great fight. Me and Stu had a disagreement about this a little while ago, where Stu wants Ian Gary Edwards, and I'm all for it. I think it's a really cracking fight. But when I heard that Jorge Masvidal wants to come back, I was like, you have to do Edwards Masvidal. We have to settle the 3-piece and a soda thing. I feel like you've already maybe shown your cards here, but if you had to pick who's right, Leon Edwards versus Gary for Stu, or Masvidal Edwards for me?
I believe for MMA, if we're talking straight MMA, it's obviously Gary and Rocky. But if we're talking history, I feel like Rocky, he should just get it back. I believe it's an easy fight for him. I believe he can finish him and he can get paid. But he's probably just looking at the title and thinking, Masvidal, like no one's bothered about Masvidal now. If I beat him,
still a big name though. It draws interest.
But does it get him closer to the belt? I don't think so.
No, it doesn't. And that's what he might be thinking now. Is he thinking money, or is he thinking the title? Like one of them. But I believe Gary's an easy fight for him too. To be honest. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, were you there in the gym when Gary was around at Renegade?
I wasn't ever there, but
you've heard some stories, Lerone. You've heard some stories,
Joe, I just know there's levels in it. There's levels to this. Like, where does he beat him? Because he can't do what he done to Page, where he took him down and just held him there. He can't do that to Rocky. Rocky's obviously the superior grappler. He might be a bit more even in the stand-up, but I still think Leon's a bit smarter than him, and he can mix it up a lot better. He's a tough fight for Gary, that one.
Interesting. Well, one of the other big things that's happened is, we've been talking for the last 2 years about Conor and Chandler. Yeah. Now Chandler's gone, I've had enough. This guy keeps going out for drinks. Let's do Chandler versus Oliveira. Did you see this coming? Did you think Conor was ever really coming back?
I believe something else is going on in the background, because I feel like the UFC are not booking. The UFC are just like, you let us down, keep letting us down. They're probably getting stories back from everywhere else. You hear when Dana speaks about it, it's just like, he just don't want to give it no attention, does he? But I think Chandler does the right thing. He's getting to the end of his career now. You can't sit and wait for Conor for 2 years. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, time's precious. Go out there, fight. And if Conor actually does come back, then you can fight him then. But I just can't see it happening.
Well, I'm gonna add to when you're saying something might be going on in the background. I have heard a couple of conspiracy theories that I'm happy to just put out there.
Yeah.
So what I've heard is that the UFC are negotiating probably with Netflix about their TV rights deals coming up. And Netflix bought the rights to the WWE recently, or at least to just one of the WWE programs, maybe like Raw or something like that. And it was in the billions. It was worth billions, this TV rights deal. The UFC might be having a similar situation going on because obviously they're all under the TKO group now as well. Yeah. So the UFC may very well be talking to Netflix or someone like that about putting on programming for them, which could be worth, as I say, into the billions. One of your big negotiating chips would be, because Conor's got 2 fights left on his contract, you'll get Conor twice. Not just once, but twice. So, I mean, I'm not saying this is actually true. It's one of the things I've heard out there. But it makes sense as a business. Hey, we'll just keep Conor on the shelf a little bit longer. When we go to Netflix, hey, you get 2 Conor fights, not just one. It's worth an extra few, 100 million or whatever.
That would make sense because you would think he got a little injury, right, in his last camp or something.
That was the toe, wasn't it?
Yeah, you would think they'll just rebook him straight away. He's the biggest grossing fighter in the world on the planet, so you think they'll book him straight away. So what you're saying does make sense.
Yeah.
Does make sense.
How do you see Chandler Oliveira going when it happens again for the second time?
I don't know, because they're both, I feel like they're both in the same place, and Oliveira's kind of lost that little aura he had, that little runny, that little streak he had, and I think that matters a lot, but I'd say Oliveira again. Yeah, same way.
I want to ask you just quickly about Volk as well, because there's been no sort of word on what Volk's doing next. Do you think he gets the winner of Max and Ilya?
He should do, yeah. He should do. I believe he deserves it. It deserves to. Yeah, he's like one of the longest reigning featherweights. He beat Max 3 times. 3 times, and then he got clipped by Ilya. So I think so, but I think he might just have. I think he's supposed to be fighting Lopez maybe in December. I heard something like that, but I don't know how true it is. But I think he might just have one because I can't see the winner of Topuria and Holloway fighting till probably mid next year, right? Probably like May or something. So he probably wants a little, not run out. Nobody's run out in this division, but he probably wants to fight before that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. Would make sense. We're coming up to UFC 307 as well. Khalil Roundtree, unexpected title shot for him.
Yeah.
What do you think about him versus Alex Pereira?
Obviously, the banger in it, but I can't see him. I just believe it. Like you said, it's out of the blue. I don't know what he done to. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of politics in it because really, truly, it should be Ankalaev.
Yep.
And Pereira. Everybody knows that, but I'd say Pereira. I think it should be a simple win, but Khalil's got power in it, so you never know.
Khalil's got power.
Pereira's got that death touch, but Khalil is no joke, is he?
He's not.
No joke.
And I think I think they've given him Khalil because I don't think they want to give him Ankalaev.
Whoa, not
Ankalaev can win that fight. And then you've got a champ that's not box office. You've got somebody that the UFC are like, who really is that interested in Ankalaev? The purists are. He's fantastic. And he deserves that shot. He deserves that shot more than anyone. But I think you're going to get a great, exciting stand-up with Pereira. And that's what the fans want, unfortunately, for Ankalaev.
But how crazy would it be? Go on.
Yeah, well, it's like, I just think this is MMA as well at the same time. So what are we going to do? We should turn it into kickboxing, small gloves kickboxing or something then, because it's MMA. I don't believe you should stop someone from getting a title shot because the wrestling are boring. I do get it for pay-per-view sales and whatnot, but it's got to be the same across the board. I believe like you might as well turn it into kickboxing then, innit?
Absolutely.
How
He
is it
deserves
going
that
to be
shot.
if Khalil?
100%.
It does.
Imagine if Khalil wins, though. I mean, Khalil Roundtree has beaten 2 glory kickboxing champions. It was Gokhan Saki and Dustin Jacoby, both glory kickboxing champions. I know they're not Alex Ferreira. There is a difference. Not all champions are equal, but that's something he's done. Maybe his Muay Thai style and that power and explosiveness.
Yeah.
You never know, man.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's not a one-sided fight at all. The 2 strikers and the both power punches, well, anything can happen in them small gloves. Anything. So he does stand a good chance, but I believe it's just so Pereira can have the title for a bit longer.
Yeah. I think while we mentioned Khalil Roundtree, Lerone, what are your thoughts on oblique kicks?
I don't know. Like you said, I've seen what he done to Muddy, and it's not nice, is it? I don't believe this should be allowed because like it's not exciting to see somebody just do that, right? And the damage it causes to fighters and putting a fighter out for a year. I don't believe this should be allowed, but yeah, they are.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
One of the other big talking points at the moment is John Jones, in like a passing interview, he sort of said that the Stipe fight is going to be his last fight.
Yeah.
So what do you think should happen with the heavyweight title? Like, does it just Tom just gets upgraded to undisputed champ? Who does he fight next? Do you have to have a vacant belt situation? Like, what do you think should go on with the heavyweight title? And what are your feelings on Jones Stipe? Because I've never been a massive fan of that fight.
I've not been a massive fan either, but it's special treatment for the goal, innit? That's all it comes down to, innit? That's all it comes down to. But I believe that he should have fought. You fight the interim champion, that's what normally goes on. So I don't think there should be special treatment for anybody. He should just retire if he don't want to fight the best in the world. And I believe Tom's the champ when he does retire, obviously. But at the same time, because he's been the GOAT for so long, I don't want to see him fight Tom because I just feel it's the only one outcome in that fight. There's only one outcome in that fight. Tom KOs him, simple as that. So I just want to see him ride up into the sunset as the GOAT, and then Tom becomes champion. Can't see anybody in that division even troubling Tom right now. Like, there's no one there. Do you know what I mean? So I think for the fans' sake, they want to see Jones Tom and see Tom get a proper test. I don't even think it will be a test, to be honest, right now. I think maybe 5-6 years ago. Oh, yeah.
What's interesting is in all of these conversations, and we've been talking John Jones like for so many, like for months and months now about this Stipe fight on and off. In any conversation any of us have had with anyone, no one has ever gone, "What if Stipe wins?" And it's like, and they're used to it laughing. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like, people forget just how fucking incredible Stipe is. I know he's been out forever and a day.
Imagine that happened.
That would upset everything, wouldn't it?
That would be mental. That's not going to happen. But that would be so insane if Stipe just landed a right hand. I mean, what they would do after that is Stipe would probably rematch Jones after that, and then Tom's in an even worse position. Still waiting around. So yeah, I mean, I would actually love that. If Stipe knocked out Jones, I would find that so brilliant, so shocking. I would be amazing. I can't see it happening at all.
I think he's just breathing it all in, Stipe, just going, "Look, no one's even mentioning the fact that I might win this. He must be loving it."
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's going to be a huge underdog, I would imagine. Well, look, before we let you go, Lerone, we want to kind of just give you some names of some featherweight fighters, and in either one word or one sentence, just give us your thoughts on them. So let's start with Diego Lopez.
Skilled.
Brian Ortega.
What is it? Experienced.
Okay. Arnold Allen.
Cool.
Alexander Volkanovski.
Legend.
Ilya Topuria.
Powerful.
Movsar Evloev.
Boring.
Aljamain Sterling.
Boring.
Max Holloway.
Legend.
Yeah, so it's like the Aljamain Sterling and Movsar fight is obviously off. So you reckon that would have been 3 boring fights?
Oh, definitely. I don't believe anything fun would have happened in that fight. It would have been a straight jiu-jitsu grappling match, no strikes on the ground. I think the UFC are probably happy that fell through, to be honest. I don't know who else they're gonna fight, but yeah, let's see how it plays out.
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
I mean, look, obviously we have to just remind everyone, you are fighting Dan Ige October 26th, Abu Dhabi, UFC 310 on the undercard of Max and Ilya.
308.
308, sorry.
308,
308. I keep getting that wrong. But yes, you're fighting Dan Ige. Have you got a call out prepared for after the win against Dan Ige?
I never look past the opponents ever.
No.
And I never look past. I look for the I look at my opponent only, and then obviously straight away I'll have a name there ready. But I can't look past this fight. I never look past fights, so I won't start now. I've got to get in there. I've got to do the business. I have to show up in this fight because it's a dangerous fight. It's a dangerous fight, so I've got to show up. I've got to be the best version of me. Got to get this win, and then I'm looking at top 5 from there straight. I don't want nobody else. I want top 5 from there. And then obviously we'll go from there.
Love it.
Nice one.
Lerone, every time we reach out to you, you're so gracious and kind and always come on the show, mate. You've supported it from way back now, so we can't thank you enough, mate. Best of luck against Ige, and we'll reach out to you after that fight, and we'd love to have a catch up with you afterwards.
It's a pleasure, mate. Thank you, boys.
Oh, thanks, Lerone. We're going to stop,
Cheers,
but don't go anywhere.